So this is our last last lesson of this entire chapter. After this, we will be moving on to our thinking cap, the review, and then our test. Before we start, we're going to take a look at the workbook pages from yesterday. This is page 165. Please make sure that you are pausing this to grab your workbook and double check your work and make sure that you followed these steps. So for number 5, Elaine spends 5 hours 30 minutes in school. If she reaches school at 9 a.m., what time does she leave school? So a problem like this, you should always be starting with a timeline because we have what time she's starting school. We need to figure out what time she's leaving. So we are finding an end time here. So anytime you're finding a start time, end time, or elapsed time, which is how much time has passed, you should be drawing a timeline. So here is our start time now. We need to figure out what time did she leave school. So you can do your 5 hours or you could break it up. So maybe start with a 3-hour jump first. So if you're at 9, that would bring you to 10, 11, 12. So this would be a good first jump. Now if you did just a 5-hour jump, that's okay too. Okay, and then that means we have to jump an additional 2 hours, which from 12 would be 1, 2. And then finally, we need to jump an additional 30 minutes for how long school is to end at 2:30, and now we started at 9 a.m. We passed at 12 o'clock, so this is going to change MBPM. Number 6, Heather has a dance lesson after school. School ends at 2:55 p.m. It takes Heather 15 minutes to walk to her dance studio. After her 1-hour lesson, it takes Heather 15 minutes to walk home. What time does Heather get home? So especially with all these jumps, we need to start with our timeline. So school is ending at 2:55. Now, although it says ends, this is not our end time. This is actually our start time because we want to know what time does she get home. And then you want to make sure, like I like to go through and highlight the different times that I need to make sure that I include in my jump because there's a lot going on in here. So she has her walk, she has her lesson, and then her walk again. So what we can do is jump that hour first, which would bring us to 3:55. And then from there, we still need to jump, and then you can maybe check it off too. Then we need to jump still 30 minutes. So what I would do is jump, I forgot to put 1 hour here. So I would jump those 5 minutes to get to that next hour of 4 o'clock. And then if I jumped 5, but I need to go 30, I will jump that last 25 minutes. Because 25 plus 5 gives us 30, to have an end time of 4:25 p.m. Alright, so let's take a look at some examples for the last part of this lesson. So Melissa arrives at a train station. Her watch shows the time is 6:45 a.m. Her watch is 20 minutes slow. What is the actual time shown on the train station clock? So if a clock is slow, that means it is behind. So we need to figure out what the actual time is first. So they have it set up for us here and tell us already that we need to add, but we want to make sure that we don't get that confused. If a clock is slow, it means it's behind, so you need to move it forward or add. So if we're going to add 20 minutes here, okay, to get the actual time, that would bring us to 7:05. a.m. And then now that we have that time, we can move on to the next part. Now we need to figure out about the train station clock. So the train arrives 10 minutes later, so then we're going 10 minutes past this, which would bring us to 7:15. And that would be our final answer, 7:15 a.m. So this is your final let's practice of the chapter. So you have these two problems, and then you are doing workbook pages 166 and 167. So for number 7, Daryl drove 1 hour 35 minutes from town A to town B. After that, he drove 2 hours 45 minutes from town B to town C. He reached town C at 7:15 p.m. What time did he leave town A? So make sure to take into account all of these amounts of time. So you need to jump 1 hour and 35 minutes and 2 hours and 45 minutes to get to town C, but we're working our way backwards. And for number 8, Tanya went to school for a band concert. She arrived at school at 7:15 p.m. according to her watch. Her watch was 30 minutes fast, which means if you're, and look at my little note, if your clock is fast, does that mean it's ahead of time or behind? So if it's fast, it's ahead. So first find out what the actual time is, and then she arrived just in time for the concert. The concert ended at 9. How long did the concert last? So you can use this timeline to jump from 7:15 p.m. to 9. Don't forget to raise your hand once you finish. Good luck, and make sure you post a picture of your workbook pages once you finish.